Hello, dealers. Thank you for joining us for this latest installment of our Dealer Success Academy. We are talking with Cleo Franklin of Franklin Strategic Solutions. Cleo is a longtime sales and marketing veteran in the industry, and I know many of you have worked with him. And he's going to be talking with us today about the topic of leads and how to turn more leads into sales. So welcome, Cleo, and I will turn it over to you.
Thank you, Lynn. It's a pleasure to talk to all of the dealers and the businesses today that are trying to solve the age-old problem of how do I convert my leads, my prospects into sales, because sales create revenue, and revenue really is the lifeblood of any business. So let's go ahead and get into it. Here's a quote I love, and it talks about a sale is not something you pursue. It's what happens to you while you're immersed in serving your customer, which is truly a process. And that process is an experiential process that we're going to get into, and how you can apply 3 steps in your process that may not exist today to help you help customers as opposed to sell them. Because I believe everyone knows the iconic Zig Ziglar. He talks about stop selling and start helping. And when you're able to help customers, what happens to you is something magical. Customers start buying from you, and customers start really promoting your business. So I would like to lead out the presentation with facts, because facts do matter. And from Forbes, businesses lose 71% of sales leads due to the process. In addition to that, Lynn, 50% of businesses take up to 5 days to respond to leads. Also, the Harvard Business Review states with their information and research that the first hour a customer is contacted leads to a conversion rate of 7x to those that are not. These are just facts, and I really like to tie this information into my 30 plus years with working for John Deere, Case New Holland, and Mahindra, as well as working with businesses and dealers of all sizes to really lay out what I think is important. So let's talk about the first thing. It's important that dealers must improve their lead response time. Response times are so critical in driving sales and turning turning leads into sales.
I wanted to just pop in there quickly with a question. So the idea of the lead response time. So there was the 5 days, which is really kind of shocking, and then there was the idea about 1 hour, which is really having a lot of emphasis on it. What do you think that customers are really expecting when they're working with our dealers? What are they expecting in terms of response time?
Lynn, I think that's a very good question. We live in an ADD society, in a society that, quite frankly, things need to happen in an instant. That's unfortunate, but it is the reality. In my experience in working with dealers that are successful, and also tracking lead response time with major manufacturers, customers are expecting you to respond to them within an hour. Now, I will tell you this, it is important that you acknowledge them. When you respond and acknowledge that they are interested in doing business with you, you do not have to really get into the sales process and try to sell on that first initial contact, but the acknowledgement and fact finding really will help you. So I want to just talk about a big question. I would ask dealers and businesses, so what is your lead response time? And if you don't have an answer to that, I think really you're doing your business an injustice, because the 3 top reasons why customers do not purchase from you, and this is backed up from my experience in working with dealers and, of course, the leading manufacturers in the industry, is that no response back from the dealer, or the dealer took too long to respond back to me, or I've already made a purchase because you did not respond back to me or you took too long. Harvard Business Review talks about that 50% of sales go to businesses who respond first. So in this case, the early bird gets the worm. And I believe the facts lay out that you have to improve your lead response time to be successful, to turning that lead into a sale. The other thing I would say and offer up an advice to dealers is that I think sales is not just the sales team's responsibility. This is a mindset and this is a culture. it should be everyone's responsibility to follow up on leads in a very timely manner. And to facilitate that, those leaders that I've seen that have been very successful, they expand that responsibility and train everyone and make them aware of the sales response process within their businesses and what are the goals. And they track it, because it's important that not just you do not just follow up, but following through. So those businesses that make sales lead response time a priority are the ones that win. I want to go into the second particular tip to turn leads into sales, and that is to track and monitor your lead process. Now, we've talked about the fact that response time really is highly correlated to being able to turn a lead into a sale. But I just have a few questions for dealers about a lead process. And this is what I would ask businesses. Do you rank or qualify your leads in some sort of system? A, B, C, hot, warm, or cold? Matter of fact, is there someone in your organization that really manages the lead process and the follow-up and follow-through? How about understanding where and what generates the most leads in your businesses? Also, what's the handoff process when it comes to that person that's managing your leads? And what happens when they're going to hand it out and what requires them to do so? The last thing I want to ask is, do you track your sales closure ratio with your leads? Now, if you're struggling with these questions, the reason why is because you don't have a process. And having a process and a system that will help you generate leads and track them and monitor them will give you an opportunity to close them. So one question for you, Cleo, before we leave that point that you just made about, establishing a process. So, dealers have gone through a lot of time and money to set up the websites and to set up social media. And then the leads are coming in and that's just something that they're not closing the loop. And so you're saying it really is as simple as a process, as simple as placing focus on it, and you can see almost immediate changes? That's exactly it, and it very well put and very well said. I believe what doesn't get measured doesn't get done. And to have a organization that does not have a system and a process to manage what is the critical revenue flow for your business, and that is lead management, I think really is a detriment to all businesses. So what does that process allow you? Well, it affords you a lot of benefits. It gives you real time opportunity to forecast your sales that are happening for the day, for the week, for the month, quarterly, and historical. Now, that's good information that one would not have if they did not have that process, and then it would be a guesstimation. This is based on historical data that you are tracking. You're also able to look at your sales win-loss ratio, not just for the company, by the week, by the day, but by individual rep. I think that's very critical. But this is the most important point. Having visibility of the process and where there's gaps, where there's bottlenecks, where people are not following up, or what within my process is not working, gives you a chance to address it, but you must have that process because it'll help you with your pipeline flow, your sales cycle length, how long customers come into your sales funnel, how long that it takes to close them. These are very good pieces of information that any business would need to have, and most successful businesses do track and have within their organizations. Well, Len, we're getting towards the end of the presentation, and I've talked about three things to turn leads into sales. Of course, first was improve your customer lead response time. Two, make sure that you track and monitor your sales process. But I think this is the most critical and most interesting. You have to ask customers for reviews and referrals. And the reason why is because they matter. And I want to get into some of the details and really give you more facts about why they matter. 84% of customers begin their buying process with a referral. Think of yourself. My family the other day just bought a vehicle, and we wanted to go to a dealership, And before we went to the dealership, we looked online at their ratings. We also asked customers and friends that we knew within our network, how does this particular dealership, in their experience, how does it work for you? And believe me, it drove our ability to go and make a decision and choose this location to purchase a car. In addition to that, 90% of purchases are made by peer recommendations. That's your family and friends. Customers, 92% of customers really trust referrals from their friends. But this is something else. I want to talk about 83% of the customers are happy to provide a referral. I don't necessarily know once a purchase or sales transaction has happened and commenced, if salespeople are taking the opportunity to ask them for a referral. And I'll get into more information and the benefits of why. 2 more points. Top sales performers ask for referrals 2 times more than their peers, and only 29% of salespeople ask for a referral. I think it's a lost opportunity, especially when you've sold to a customer and you put forth the energy and the effort to bring them into your family. Who could not be a better advocate for your business than that customer? And asking them for a referral will help you. So, more benefits of reviews and referrals. It elevates the customer trust and confidence in your business. It also provides, and this is something that we all appreciate, free promotion and advertising. And it really will engage your customers to be within your sales force to sell for you and promote your business. We talked earlier in the second point about a process and a system. Asking for reviews will help reveal your business blind spots to allow you to improve. I believe you can't manage what you can't see. And sometimes there'll be a bad review, sometimes it's a good review. But I want to know the reasons what drives my good reviews, and I also want to know the reasons that drive my bad reviews so that I can get ahead of it and make sure that I can manage it. Also, customers spend more than 31% on products with a positive review, and they're attracted to businesses that people believe in, and that's through referrals and review. I think we live in a time of a lot of uncertainty, and sometimes which requires more trust. And for businesses that really embrace this concept of making sure they facilitate reviews and ask for referrals are going to be in a good position to win. So, manage what you can control. I don't worry about that. I only want to manage what I can control. As I said earlier, you can't manage what you don't know. I think businesses that are proactive and go out and welcome opportunities for customers to review them are powerful. Whether or not they sign up on Yelp, for Google Business, which are free, or allow customers to review on their website and talk about their experience, it's important that dealers take that opportunity to get out there and to really encourage customers to tell them about the experience. I think this is a fact. Happy customers talk, but unhappy customers talk a lot. We know the old adage that happy customers speak to 2 to 5 customers, but an unsatisfied customer is going to talk to 3 to 4 times as much. Understanding why customers are really not promoting your store, or if there's been a bad experience, is important that I feel dealers understand why, and getting reviews will help you. Like myself, and I'm sure most dealers and customers, I look on the internet, or before I engage any business, I want to understand the good and the bad. But I'll tell you something. What's important is that I remember businesses that have turned me around with a bad experience and really gave me an opportunity to see what they're all about, to turn a negative experience into a positive. Those are the businesses that I really talk about, and those are the ones that I remember most. Also, again, as I've talked about earlier, you need as many advocates out there in the marketplace promoting your business, and you can never have enough customers promoting you and talking about you. So this is what managing what you can control will offer you if you instill within your business culture reviews and referrals within the sales process. So Lynn, we're at the end of the presentation. Talked about giving 3 tips, and I hope dealers find this helpful. I'm sure that many of our successful rural lifestyle dealers are already doing this, but those who are not, I hope you're able to at least take a few things and take away to your business to establishing your culture. Improving your lead response time. making sure that you have a process to track and monitor your sales process that really will help you turn leads into prospects and into sales. And also, there's an old saying, a closed mouth doesn't get fed. So set aside your pride, ask for a referral and a review.
Well, excellent, Cleo. And I just wanted to talk about a little bit about the idea about reviews and bad reviews.
Yes.
Dealers, they have to know they'll get a bad review. So just expect it. And because there's always going to be an unhappy customer that you know the saying about you can't please everybody. So,
Yes.
what are you seeing? There's always that knee-jerk reaction that, you should respond, post a response, or, what do you see as a best practice for when there are bad reviews, especially on like social media?
I think the best practice within my years of experience in working with John Deere, as well as Case New Holland and Mahindra, is to be proactive. Is to immediately engage that customer, to really understand the facts and the drivers for that bad review. There's going to be cases where you have done as much as you possibly could, but I also believe in going with an open mind, acknowledging the customer, trying to understand what has happened. In most cases, in my experience, has turned a bad review into a good review. But don't get me wrong, this isn't Disney World. I mean, there's going to be opportunities where you do have a customer that will not be happy with you. So I would say this, in our reality today, it's important that we do not run away from customer reviews. You want to make sure that you can accumulate and drive to more positive reviews than negative reviews. But just like a positive review, a negative review is all about perspective. Engage early, engage often, try to understand and learn from it. It's what I've seen and is the best practice, and what I've seen dealers who have bettered themselves in a position to try their best to turn a negative into a positive.
Well, and I like the point that you made about the blind spot. So, reviews can really be a quality control. A dealer can't be, at every transaction, can't be monitoring, every delivery, every conversation. So a blind spot or quality control is should be looked at, I guess, as an advantage when tracking those reviews. What do you think about that perspective?
I think it's a great perspective. As I've started the discussion today, the lifeblood of any organization is revenue. This presentation is how do we turn leads into sales? And it's a process, it's a system as you move people through the funnel. And as you've said, moving them through the funnel from awareness to consideration to trial to purchase and repurchase. And then I would think the best place is then advocacy. You need to have an audit system or a quality control to make sure that along the way at each and every touch point, you know what's happening, and for better and for worse. So the quality control is important. And if you're a business that is innovative and looking to learn, then you need to be a lifelong learner, and you need to establish that quality control, that system of checks to make sure that you are delivering upon your brand promise. Without it, you're going to be blind to it. Things are going to happen to you, and you cannot manage what you can't see and what you don't know.
Well, and you also talked about, turning around a bad experience. And I read a lot of reviews where they talk about something that happened wrong, like with equipment or
Yes.
something, but then they talk positively about the business and how the business handled the problem. So I think that there's, that even a review that kind of looks like it might have some negative connotations can still be a win for your dealership based on how your customers or your employees handled the customer.
I think it is. I think if, the second point about truly making your sales or your sales lead process a priority and part of your culture, by taking, and by the way, your culture is either driven by your organizational goals and your values and your business objectives, or it will happen anyway without that. So it's either by design or not by design. So establishing this culture to understand how you can better serve and help your customers by helping your business, I think is important. And I would not be afraid of any bad reviews. For me, it's about perspective. A good review is an opportunity to basically showcase and tell the world about how well I'm doing, and also an opportunity to add another customer and advocate to promote my business. But a bad review is also an opportunity to find out exactly what went wrong in the process, because no one's perfect, and maybe I'm going to learn something. So this learner's mentality, this learning culture that you want to establish within your business, I think is important, and it's driven by perspective. So I wouldn't fear any of those things. As they say, supposed to face everything and run, face everything and learn and rise.
Excellent. Okay, well, thank you very much. A lot of topics covered here today, a lot of ideas for how to change some processes in a very straightforward way, so that's excellent. And dealers, so it's your turn. If you have any questions for Cleo, just go ahead and put those questions in the comment section below, and we will get those questions to Cleo, and he'll do his best to answer them. So we wanted to thank dealers for participating, of course, thank our sponsors, and thank you very much, Cleo, for all the information that you shared today.
Thank you, Len, and thank you to all of the dealers and the businesses. Again, customers of Rural Lifestyle Dealer, and good selling.